I'm Lisa Federico, and this is Inside Northwest Columbus. After spending decades in corporate marketing, I traded boardrooms for backyards because the best stories are happening right here at home. Every week, you'll meet entrepreneurs, creatives, and everyday neighbors doing extraordinary things across Worthington and Northwest Columbus. So let's jump into this week's conversation. Welcome to this episode of Inside Northwest Columbus. This month, we are talking everything local. Our issue is focused on local businesses that are doing cool things in our community. And this is why I have asked both Nicky, Robie, and Beth Heisey with the High Road Gallery to be our guests today. Welcome to the show. So good to have you.
Thank you, Lisa, for having us.
You have such an amazing story. I cannot wait to share this with you. For those of you that are in Worthington, you have probably seen the High Road Gallery right on High Street and 161, but you might not know the mission behind the gallery. You also might not know about the number of things that they're doing in our community, which is fantastic. And there is a backstory that I think is going to blow you away, so I want to make sure that we cover that. But for those people that might know High Road but don't know the mission, tell us a little bit more.
Well, let me say one thing first. It's on High Street at Stafford. So it's right in between the old Worthington Library and the Dairy Queen.
Yep. You can't miss it. Yeah. If you're going north, it's right on that right-hand side. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, yeah, we have actually been around since 2001, which is something that not a lot of people know. The original mission was stated by Carol Heisey, and it was, the gallery exists for the sponsorship of art exhibits and the provision of gallery space for exhibits and artists and the advancement of art education. So she really wanted, with the gallery, instruct the public about all things art-related.
Yeah.
That was the original mission. And we are trying to still live by that and do things that will involve the public and involve the community, and that's where we're at.
And so the gallery is a collective, meaning that the artists actually reside there. So they rent space, and that is their maker space.
Right. So we are an art gallery in the traditional sense of the words. We have visiting artists who have 5-week shows there, and we select those from local artists. But we also have 12 resident artists. They don't live there, but they have their studio space there. And that's one thing. So when Carol Heisey opened the gallery, she opened it as purely an art gallery. And the whole house was full of art, and she would change. Every month she would change all the art pieces and make it a new show. But then about 10 years in, she knew a lot of artists in the community that needed art space. And so she started offering those artists that needed a space to work, a space to show their art, a space to sell their art, spaces in the building. And that's where we are now. We have 12 studios that are open to the public and where artists are actively creating.
And the two of you are artists as well. And you've talked a little bit about your background with High Road, because both of you have been with the collective for a long time.
Well, Nicky's been there a lot longer than I have, but I was a local art teacher at Worthington Christian until only about 5 years ago, where I was so fortunate to be asked to join up.
Yeah.
And I've been there since about 2016. I knew the gallery for a long time before that. I would go in there very often and talk to Carol and say, I really liked the space here. And there was always a lot of, all the other artists waiting. And but eventually I did get a space. So.
Yeah. And your specialty from an artwork standpoint, from an artist standpoint, is what?
I'm an abstract artist. I use oil and acrylic and mixed media.
Yeah. And you, Beth?
I work mostly with watercolor, but also pastels. And one of my favorite themes is the little dog flying over Dairy Queen. Some people recognize that as my love.
Yeah. You have such a great variety. I think it really speaks to the community of artists that you've brought in. Mm-hmm. And I think it speaks to our community as well. when you go in there, it's one of the things that, you kind of step back and you're like, wow, this is right here in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that the artists are all there. Like all 12 of them are making art all day, every day. And you can see that as soon as you walk in.
That is a real kind of humble thing to allow people to see behind the scenes what you're doing.
Yeah.
But that's why it's so cool. That and the artist talks that we have where people who are guest artists talk about their process. We show our process on an everyday basis. And it is one of the things I think that really sets us apart as an unusual place to go to where young and old can ask questions. How do you know when your artwork's finished?
Right.
Really great questions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we make art more accessible to the public.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people are intimidated. Even when they come in the gallery, they like stick their head in the studio and they're like, may we come in? And we're like, of course, we want you to come in. And so we try to make it less intimidating. And so people can ask questions and we can show our good work and our bad, our struggles and, how.
And, typically when you go into a gallery, it's pristine, right? And it's quiet and there's everything in its place. But to me, the High Road Gallery is it's very much like a family home, with all 12 of you in it. It doesn't feel like a stodgy art gallery. It feels very homey and very community focused. So hats off
Thank you.
to you. The founding vision was based on, creating maker space and being able to house art and bring that to the community. But I think that that was the original vision. But you have a much bigger vision for the gallery and where it's going.
Well, I think the initial vision was there, and we are just expanding on it.
Yeah.
I think Carol's mantra was everything for the artist.
Yeah.
The artist is like number one, and we are saying, yes, the artist, but we want the community to be also part of this. So we have started doing more community-related activities, events. We invite the community in to work with us or, do community painting and things like that. But basically, we want to continue Carol's original mission of, bringing art to Worthington.
Yeah. And let's bring our listeners up to speed on what's happened at High Road over the last 2 years. So Carol passed about a year and a half ago. Tell us a little bit about her. What was she like? And then let's talk about what's transpired here, because there's been some big changes at High Road these last 2 years.
Yeah.
Carol was what we like to call on the circuit. She was going to a lot of art festivals throughout Ohio, Pennsylvania, surrounding states. And so she knew a lot of, artists. And like we said, when she started her gallery, it was because she knew there were people who needed a place to show their art. And there was no one doing it in Worthington. So she found this home for sale in 2001 and started up her shows. And
Not just any home, though. This
Historic.
This is
home.
an 1818 home, which you could have purchased in 1818 with your soldier's certificate from the War of 1812.
Yeah, I don't know that many people realize just how old your building is. It's one of the oldest buildings in Worthington.
Yes, and it's never been moved. Some of the others have been moved to a new, location, but ours is right there on High Street, where it was built.
It's gorgeous. So I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. So she bought the building the home in 2001.
Yes. But before she died, she put the house into the nonprofit, and with her blessing, we're moving on. So we've got a reorganized board of wonderful people that we love to work with, who are very generous of their time, and we have got new bylaws and, a whole new foundation ready to go. We've firmed up our relationship with Boundless. We started a relationship with the Hartford senior community down the street with us. So we're reaching out to not only those with disability, but also for the elderly and trying to promote more intergenerational activities. Tomorrow, actually, we have an event at the Hartford, which is we call it art stories.
Yeah.
And so we just tell about the art that we are making ourselves, and they.
Right. And this is what we mean by connecting with the community. You're going into organizations like Boundless or like the Hartford, a senior living community, and being able to bring art to them and art appreciation to them, which I think was very important to Carol.
Right.
Take me back to the day when you found out that the building was yours.
Well, so really it started before Carol's passing. The family approached us and said, we'd like Carol's work to go on. Are you artists willing and able to do that? And we had to think about it for a while because it's a big job. It's a big responsibility. And so we did get a board together and we said, yes, we are willing and able to do this. And so the family generously did not put the house on the market, which we thought they would, and donated it to the nonprofit that is run by all of us artists and the board. And so we took this on as, in the family wanted it to be sort of Carol's legacy, and it is, and that's why we wanted to continue with her mission and so on. But the family has been very, very generous in, with the, this transition as well, and so we really are grateful to them that they did not put the house on the market. We know there are a lot of historic structures in Worthington that have disappeared. We can think of the Griswold Center that was
Griswold Inn.
Griswold Inn that was taken down in the 60s, and several others. We did not want, and we do not want that to happen to High Road Gallery.
Let's pause for just a moment. March is our home and design issue where we explore how people are rethinking the way they live in their spaces, from kitchens and outdoor living to lighting, materials, and the details that quietly change everything. On the podcast, we're sitting down with the designers, builders, and experts shaping homes right here in Northwest Columbus. If you care about craftsmanship, smart design, and making your home work beautifully for the way you live, make sure you're subscribed. You can explore the full home and design issue through the City Lifestyle link in the show notes. So you went from being resident artists to now being gallery owners and a nonprofit management team.
Right.
Were you freaking out just a little bit?
Yes, we are freaking out most days of the week, but because we're not business people, we're not, we're teachers and artists, and so we are trying with the help of a lot of other people to really make this successful.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you.
I know sometimes it feels overwhelming. But the work that you're doing, the events that you're holding, that connection to the community, you're doing a great job. So give yourself some grace, right? I know that this cannot be easy. Tell us a little bit about what it's like now being gallery owners and a nonprofit organization.
Well, we have the help of our resident artists. When you rent a space at High Road Gallery, you have to be aware that it's not just you're renting a space and that's your space. And I mean, it is all those things, but we have no paid staff in the gallery. So all the artists are helping to, do the gardening and keep the house clean and small repairs and, curating the shows, working summer events, writing grants, because we are, we're trying to keep this going, that's how we're managing is with a lot of help.
It's incredible. And I know you have like an artist that handles your social media, and then everybody pitches in, right, to take care of the grounds and the house, and it's you probably didn't think you were going to get that involved when you became artist members,
right? When we first went to High Road Gallery, I never thought I was, going to be doing grant writing and I don't know,
I'll bet.
all the
But it does seem like amongst yourselves, it's a community as well.
Oh,
Like I've never seen a
absolutely.
group that like wants so badly to like pitch in, and you know,
Right.
you don't have issues where, you know, there's work to be done. Well, and I know you do have work to be done, but everybody pitches in to make it happen.
And we go to our resident artists and ask for help, and we go to our board and our advisory board, and all our resident artists are also on the advisory board, and then some people from outside that are just interested, and we can go to them for help.
Yeah.
The Worthington Chamber, the
Yeah.
Columbus Partnerships, or
Yeah.
Worthington Partnerships.
Yeah.
And, people have just been so generous with their time and with their ingenuity and creative spirit towards us, which was just really, really cool.
Wow. And Worthington does support businesses, nonprofits as well as for-profits. And I do think that, you know, everyone's rooting for you to succeed because you provide a valuable service in our community. You know, you are one of the few art galleries, and it's such a special place because of how the artists contribute to the gallery, but also contribute like to the daily operations. It's very unique. We're just so lucky to have you. Tell me a little bit more about the building, because I know it's a big concern. And again, how lucky are we that we have this, you know, building on, is it on the historic register?
Oh, yes.
Yes, it is. And we
definitely.
have a little bronze plaque on the front, and it's a 5-bay federal, and which was, the essence of that year that it was made. Inside, you find logs, like as in it was the next thing from a log cabin.
Wow.
And they form the ceiling and the floors underneath what you can see.
So it was built in 1818 by Aurora Buttles, who was a very prolific builder in Worthington, especially, and brick mason. And he also built the Orange Johnson House and other houses in the area. And he was very young when he built it. He tried to sell it. It was sort of like a model home at the time. He tried to sell it, couldn't sell it right away, and then he moved in there with his own family for several years. So, we're stewards of this building now. We feel like we have this responsibility towards this building. And as you know, with old buildings, there's a lot of, things that need
Surprises.
help. Surprises. And we have learned a lot about, masonry and, windows, historic floors, and aging systems, things like plumbing and things like that. So it's been very interesting.
So you're becoming building operators as well.
Well, we try.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's important for people to have access to historic buildings that are not museums. I mean, we are showing that contemporary art can coexist with history, and that, people can come in there and sort of experience that historic feeling and as well as the art.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big value of having historic structures in your community that are used for everyday activities and that people can take part in.
What are some things about like the upkeep, right, of the building that most people probably just wouldn't even think about? Like, what are some of the things you're dealing with in case there are people out there that might want to help? Talk a little bit about what you're dealing with and what help you could use with the building.
Well, where do I start?
Everything.
I think one of the major concerns is the windows. I mean, some of the windows still have original historic glass in them, but the structures themselves are severely deteriorated. So the wood has cracked and rotten in parts, and of course, and that brings with it that moisture is coming into the building.
Not good for the artwork.
Not well. We sort of try to keep on top of it. We repaint those areas, or we have done a few small repairs where we could to put new window sills in, things like that. We have, done some work with the gutters, but everything really needs a major overhaul. And like the masonry, a lot of the grout is falling out of
Right.
between the bricks, and so we have big gaps that are appearing. So it's really a work in progress, and it will be for many years.
Yeah.
And we will need a lot of help.
And that doesn't include any of the surprises that you sometimes get,
Right.
Electrical and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, in addition to that, you are also, let me back up a minute. Because you have this historic home, are there lots of like required, like you can't do this, but you can do this? I mean, do you have all these like hoops you have to jump through because like you can't just do any work on it? It has to be historic, right?
You have to be up to speed on a lot of the laws and things that go for historic buildings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And again, right, part of your day job now.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a lot of reading, and luckily we have the internet at our disposal, and we just learning as we're going along. And yes, we have to get permits for certain things, and we have. I mean, there are certain things that are just not possible to do in a historic building, and people are aware of that.
Right.
And so, we try to do our best to make it as accessible to everybody, and to, make sure that it's going to be there 100 years from now.
Absolutely.
And that requires upkeep and maintenance and repairs, and so.
Yeah. Didn't get the magazine at home? No problem. You can read it for free by signing up for our digital issues. Just head to the link in the show notes. And hey, if you're just listening to this episode, did you know you can watch it too? Catch the full video on YouTube, link below. We had talked about also the garage area.
Mm-hmm.
You were thinking about potentially putting in a venue or putting in more space or maybe classroom space. What's coming up for High Road in terms of what your vision or what your plan is?
Well, that's one of the visions we had, is to make sort of an accessible to all arts education space. And really the only place we can do that is without building onto the building, which we don't want to do, is to use the garage, because it's level, and we could, eventually make that into a nice classroom type, But really, for me, that's sort of future music. I mean, I think we need to work on what we have first, and the foundation, and make sure that everything is solid, and we don't get ice inside of the windows in the winter and things like that, or water on the roof,
And so what are some things that you're doing to help you bring in some of the cash that you need to be able to keep up with the building and the other things that you want to do?
Well, one thing that we're starting is an opportunity for really anyone to become a friend of High Road Gallery. For any donation online or through the mail, we would have, for any donation above $75, they would be able to become a friend, and we put them on our website.
Yeah.
We're also starting to reach out to local businesses. We have a few that we've kind of focused on now, and in order to partner with them for different events, the expenses for different events.
Yeah.
We're working on grants. We are...
You're basically doing whatever you can, right, to be able to bring it all in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so if there's any listeners out there that can help, right, this is a great cause, and certainly the money goes to a great, great use in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to transition a little bit, because you're doing some really unique things in our community. I love the work that you're doing with Boundless. I'm an Open Circle Society member, so I advocate for the work that Boundless does. They're also located in Worthington. Again, we're so lucky to have all of you here. But you've got a few artists that you've featured recently from Boundless. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So we, one of the things we like to do is, invite the community in, and by doing that, making art more accessible, I think we hear about real needs that art could possibly help with. And so one of the example is our relationship or our partnership with I Am Boundless, which is located on 161, and that helps people with neurodivergent challenges. We have had their artists do pop-up shows in our summer events. We've had them do gallery shows, and some of their artists are now volunteering for us, which is
Great.
it doesn't sound like it's a big thing, but it's a huge step to be able to communicate with people and give them that opportunity. And then another group that came to us actually and said is the Hartford, and they said, well, we have some of our members are really interested in art, but can you bring the art to them?
Right.
And so that's what we're doing with our Sunday presentations, where one of our artists goes over and talks about either their art, or I did a presentation on High Road Gallery, and so those are things that we can do that probably are not a regular commercial art gallery
Right.
wouldn't be able to do
And
that.
then are you able to offer the space like for meetings and things like that? Is that something, a potential?
Yes, we have our main gallery space. We are a little bit constricted by the size of it, so we cannot put 100 people in there.
Yeah.
But we've had some musical events in there. We've had workshops. We're probably going to do some workshop in partnership with the Worthington Area Art League in the future.
Wonderful.
And so we've had individual artists that had no place to do a class or a workshop, and they've done them there. So we're trying to use the space or have the space available for other people
Right.
to use. Our summer events are very community oriented.
Yeah, and let's talk about that because everyone, right, is done with all of the snow, and we are so
please.
looking forward to warm weather and being
Yes.
outside. Can we talk about some of the great events that you have coming up?
Sure. We have live music.
Yeah.
We have food from various vendors around the town step up and help us out there. We have several pop-ups, usually, 6 or 8 artists who are willing to, set up a table. And it's only steps away from the farmer's market, so it's really kind of a nice deal. And we don't charge anything to those pop-ups, people who come in to vent. We have collaborative art that we do during those events, and that is where everybody works together on a piece of plywood, and then those paintings have been given to the business owners who collaborate with us. And so all ages love to paint and love to, put their mark on the group group painting. We have a theme, and everybody enjoys that a lot.
Yeah, our summer events are once a month.
Mhm.
They're the second Saturday, and they take place between 10 and 2, so we have some of the people from the market that are going to the market
Right.
or coming back from the market
Perfect timing.
able to participate. We have children's activities sometimes. And then we have several pop-up artists. And like Beth said, we don't charge them to be there. So this is an opportunity. Again, this is in keeping with our mission, an opportunity to give artists, sometimes emerging artists, or even, some local businesses, the opportunity to have a table out and show what they're making or what they're doing.
Right. It's so important. And I love the connection that you're bringing with art to the community with your shows and incorporating some of our nonprofits into your organization. I just think it's fantastic. And hats off to the two of you and to all the artists there that are working so feverishly to make it all work. I'm astounded by it. And you can read more about the High Road Gallery in the February issue. But it has been such a pleasure to have you here. I'm rooting for you. I'm doing everything I can because I just think the world of the High Road Gallery. Where can people get more information about what's up and coming?
Okay, so we are open. Let me tell you the open hours too. We're open only Fridays and Saturdays right now from 12 to 4. In the summer, we open, so the months that the market is in session, we're open from 10 to 4, so we get more people, hopefully, to come by from the market. We also are open by appointment. So if you have a group of friends you want to bring through, you let us know through our website, and we will open the gallery for you for a personal tour. We are on social media. As I said, we have one of our artists is very up on social media, and she posts a lot on Instagram. She got us on TikTok. We're on Facebook. We also have a website, highroadgallery.com, and that has all our shows and our events that are coming up, and also has spaces where you can apply for studio space, where you can apply for to be in a show, to be a pop-up. Anyway, those are, you can just send us an email and we will take you.
And all of those links will be in the show notes, so please look there for those. And most importantly, and I know right now we're kind of in the middle of winter, we're thinking it's tax season, donations are much appreciated. And I know that you need them, and you're working on partnerships with other companies and working to bring those dollars in. So if you want to give your money to a great cause, please consider the High Road Gallery. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you,
Thank
Lisa,
you.
for having
Really
us.
enjoyed it. Your story is just fascinating to me, and you're doing a great job.
We really like people to come to the gallery. That's one thing we would like to do is come see us. We love visitors. We hear over and over again people in Worthington saying, "Oh, well, I've lived here my whole life, and I never knew what this gallery was all about." So please come in and we'd love to have you.
And you'll see Nicky or Beth there, or any of the other artists, and they're all super talkative and will answer all your questions. It's a real neighborhood gem. So thank you again for being here, and thank you for joining us on this episode of Inside Northwest Columbus. We will see you next Wednesday, same time, same place. Thank you.
Boxland Media. Think big,